Captain Daniel Mercer stood on the bridge of the Resolute, the flagship of Earth's defense fleet. The atmosphere was tense, filled with the silent anticipation of something ominous. The holographic display before him flickered to life, revealing the face of Admiral Vark, the ruthless leader of the Galactic Empire. "People of Earth," Vark began, his voice dripping with contempt, "you have long enjoyed your independence, but that time is over. Surrender to the Galactic Empire or face total annihilation." Daniel's eyes narrowed as he listened to the ultimatum. He could feel the anger and determination rising within him. "They think they can intimidate us," he muttered. Lieutenant Amanda Grayson, his second-in-command, approached. "What's our move, Captain?" Daniel's voice was steady, filled with resolve. "We prepare for war. Transmit a message to all Earth forces. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity won't back down." As Amanda relayed the orders, Daniel addressed his crew, his tone unwavering. "We face a formidable enemy, but we have something they don't, the unbreakable spirit of humanity. We will defend our world, no matter the cost." The call to arms echoed across Earth, mobilizing military bases and civilian volunteers alike. Soldiers, pilots, and technicians readied themselves for the impending battle. The Resolute and its fleet prepared to defend their home. Daniel stood before his assembled crew, his voice filled with conviction. "We're up against a powerful adversary, but our courage and determination will see us through. We will show the Galactic Empire that humanity will never surrender." Amanda nodded, her expression fierce. "We've got the best pilots, the best soldiers. We're ready, Captain." As the fleet prepared to launch, Daniel received another message from Admiral Vark. The holographic projection of Vark sneered at him. "Captain Mercer, you have one last chance to surrender. Refuse, and Earth will be reduced to ashes." Daniel's response was swift and unwavering. "We will never surrender. If you come for us, we will fight, and we will win." The fleet launched into space, moving to intercept the approaching armada of the Galactic Empire. As the enemy ships drew closer, the tension on the Resolute's bridge was palpable. "Enemy ships are within range," Amanda reported. "All ships, prepare for engagement," Daniel ordered. "We're going to hit them where it hurts." The battle began with a furious exchange of fire. Earth's ships, though outnumbered, fought with tenacity and skill. The Resolute led the charge, targeting the Empire's command ships and disrupting their formations. "Focus fire on their flagship," Daniel commanded. "We take it out, and their morale will crumble." The Resolute's weapons locked onto the enemy flagship, delivering a relentless barrage. The Empire's ships fought back fiercely, but the human fleet's coordinated tactics began to take their toll. Despite their valiant efforts, the human fleet was struggling to hold the line. The Empire's superior numbers and firepower were overwhelming, and Earth's defenses were being pushed to their limits. Amanda approached Daniel, her expression grim. "Captain, we're taking heavy losses. We need reinforcements." Daniel nodded, his mind racing. "Transmit a distress signal to our allies. Tell them we need help, and fast." As the battle raged on, the Empire's forces began to gain the upper hand. Earth's ships were outnumbered and outgunned, but they continued to fight with unyielding determination. "Captain, we've got incoming," Amanda shouted. "It's the reinforcements." A fleet of ships emerged from hyperspace, their hulls gleaming with advanced technology. The Allied systems, a coalition of species who had also suffered under the Empire's tyranny, had answered Earth's call for help. The arrival of the Allied systems fleet breathed new life into the battle. The combined forces of Earth and its allies launched a coordinated assault on the Empire's ships, targeting their weak points and exploiting their vulnerabilities. Daniel's voice rang out over the comms. "All ships, press the attack. We've got them on the ropes." The Empire's fleet, caught off guard by the sudden reinforcements, began to falter. The human and allied ships fought with renewed vigor, their weapons blazing as they tore through the enemy lines. Admiral Vark, watching the battle from his flagship, realized the tide was turning. He ordered a retreat, but it was too late. The combined might of Earth and its allies was unstoppable. As the last of the Empire's ships fled into hyperspace, a cheer erupted across the Resolute. They had won the first battle, but Daniel knew that the war was far from over. "We did it," he said quietly, a mix of relief and determination in his voice. But this is just the beginning. Amanda nodded. We need to take the fight to them. We can't let the Empire recover and strike back. Daniel's eyes burned with resolve. Agreed. We'll follow them to their territory and finish what we started. With the Empire's initial assault repelled, Captain Daniel Mercer knew the time had come to take the fight to their territory. The Allied systems fleet, now bolstered by Earth's forces, prepared for a daring offensive. On the bridge of the Resolute, Daniel stood before his crew, his expression one of steely determination. We've shown the Empire that we won't be intimidated. Now we take the fight to them. We're going to strike at the heart of their territory and bring an end to their tyranny. Lieutenant Amanda Grayson nodded, her eyes filled with resolve. All systems are ready, Captain. Our allies are prepared for the jump to hyperspace. The fleet jumped to hyperspace, emerging in the Empire's core systems. The sight that greeted them was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. Massive shipyards, heavily fortified planets, and fleets of warships patrolling the area. Amanda's voice was steady as she relayed the tactical data. Captain, their defenses are formidable. This won't be easy. Daniel's expression was resolute. We've faced worse. All ships, prepare for battle. The human and allied fleet surged forward, launching a series of coordinated strikes. They targeted key installations, disrupting the Empire's supply lines and communications. The battle for the Empire's core systems was fierce and unrelenting. Focus on their shipyards, Daniel ordered. We need to cut off their ability to build more ships. The Resolute led the charge, its weapons blazing as it tore through the enemy defenses. The Empire's ships fought back with desperation, but the human and allied fleet's superior tactics and determination began to turn the tide. Amidst the chaos, Daniel received a transmission from Admiral Vark. Captain Mercer, you are a worthy adversary, but this is where it ends. Surrender now, and I will spare your world. Daniel's response was swift and unwavering. Never. We will fight until the Empire is nothing but a memory. The battle for the Empire's core systems reached a fever pitch. The human and allied ships launched a relentless assault on the Empire's defenses, targeting key installations and crippling their ability to respond. All ships concentrate fire on their command ships, Daniel commanded. We need to disrupt their chain of command. The Resolute and its allied ships focused their fire on the Empire's command vessels. Explosions rocked the enemy fleet as ship after ship fell to the combined assault. Captain, their defenses are crumbling, Amanda reported, her voice filled with a mix of relief and determination. We've got them on the run. Daniel nodded. Press the attack. We need to take out their command center. The fleet advanced toward the Empire's central command center, a massive, heavily fortified installation that served as the nerve center of their military operations. The Empire's remaining ships rallied to defend it, but they were no match for the human and allied forces. We need to breach their shields, Amanda said, analyzing the tactical data. Once the shields are down, we can target the command center directly. Daniel's eyes burned with resolve. All ships, focus on the shield generators. Take them out. The human and allied ships launched a concentrated assault on the shield generators, delivering a relentless barrage. The Empire's ships fought fiercely to protect their last stronghold, but the human and allied forces pressed their advantage. The Resolute's weapons locked onto the shield generators, delivering precision strikes. The shields flickered and failed, and the command center was exposed. We're through, Amanda shouted. Their shields are down. Daniel's voice rang out over the comms. All ships, focus on the command center. This ends now. The fleet poured everything into the assault, targeting the command center with precision strikes. Explosions rocked the structure, and with a final massive blast, it began to collapse. As the command center crumbled, the Empire's forces were thrown into disarray. The human and allied fleet pressed their advantage, dismantling the remaining defenses and securing key positions. Daniel stood on the bridge of the Resolute, watching as the Empire's last stronghold fell. We've done it, he said, a mix of relief and triumph in his voice. The Empire is finished. Amanda's expression was filled with pride. This is a victory for all of us, for humanity, and for every species that has suffered under the Empire's rule. The human and allied forces began to mop up the remaining resistance, ensuring that the Empire's power was completely broken. The galaxy had been liberated, but the cost had been high. "We've won the battle," Daniel said, his voice filled with determination. "But we must ensure that the peace we've fought for is lasting. We can't allow another tyranny to rise in its place." Amanda nodded. "We need to build a coalition, a united front, to ensure that no new threat can ever rise again." As the human and allied leaders gathered to discuss the future, they agreed to form a Galactic Union, a coalition of species dedicated to peace, cooperation, and mutual defense. With the formation of the Galactic Union, the galaxy began to heal. Trade and communication flourished, and old rivalries were set aside in the pursuit of a common goal. The galaxy was entering a new era, one defined by unity and cooperation. But the journey had only just begun. The human and allied forces had struck a decisive blow against the Galactic Empire, but the war was far from over. The remnants of the Empire were scattered and desperate, and they were preparing to launch a counteroffensive. Captain Daniel Mercer knew they needed to strike swiftly and decisively to prevent the Empire from regrouping. In the command center of the Resolute, Daniel and his senior staff gathered to discuss their next move. The holographic display showed the locations of key remaining Empire installations, including a heavily fortified fortress that housed their surviving leadership. "This fortress is our next target," Daniel said, his voice filled with resolve. "If we can take out their leadership, we can cripple their ability to coordinate any counterattacks." Lieutenant Amanda Grayson studied the display. "It's heavily fortified, Captain. A direct assault would be incredibly costly." Daniel nodded. "That's why we won't be going in directly. We need a diversion. We'll launch a full-scale assault on their secondary defenses to draw their forces away from the fortress. Meanwhile, a small, elite team will infiltrate the fortress and take out the leadership." Major Alex Reyes, who had led the successful ground assaults, stepped forward. "I'll lead the infiltration team. We can use cloaking technology to get in undetected and strike from within." Daniel's eyes met Alex's, filled with trust and determination. "Be careful, Alex. This mission is critical." The human and allied fleet prepared for the daring operation. Ships were mobilized for the diversionary attack, while Alex and his team suited up for the infiltration mission. The atmosphere was tense, but filled with a sense of purpose. The fleet launched a massive assault on the Empire's secondary defenses, drawing significant enemy forces away from the fortress. Explosions lit up the void as the human ships engaged in fierce combat, their weapons blazing. "Maintain pressure," Daniel commanded. "We need to keep their focus on us." Meanwhile, Alex and his team, using advanced cloaking technology, slipped past the enemy lines and approached the fortress undetected. They moved swiftly and silently, avoiding patrols and security systems. "We're in position," Alex reported over a secure channel, moving to the primary objective. The team navigated the fortress's labyrinthine corridors, encountering sporadic resistance. They neutralized guards with precision and made their way to the central command chamber, where the Empire's leaders were coordinating the defense. Back on the Resolute, Daniel and Amanda monitored the infiltration team's progress. The diversion was working, but the human fleet was taking heavy damage. "Captain, their reinforcements are incoming," Amanda warned. "We need to wrap this up quickly." Daniel's voice was resolute. "Hold the line. Alex, what's your status?" Alex's voice came through, tense but determined. "We're at the command chamber, engaging the targets now." The team breached the chamber, surprising the Empire's leaders. A fierce firefight erupted, but Alex and his team fought with unparalleled skill and determination. They eliminated the Empire's leaders, crippling the enemy's command structure. "Targets down," Alex reported. "We're exfiltrating now." As the Empire's leadership fell, chaos spread through their remaining forces. The human fleet pressed their advantage, pushing the enemy back and securing key positions. "Captain, we've done it," Amanda said, her voice filled with relief and triumph. "The fortress is ours." Daniel nodded, a fierce satisfaction in his eyes. "Excellent work, everyone. Secure the area and prepare for any counterattacks." The human fleet regrouped, consolidating their gains and fortifying their positions. The Empire's forces were in disarray, their leadership decimated, and their defenses crumbling. On the ground, Alex and his team made their way back to the extraction point. having completed their mission. They were exhausted, but filled with a sense of accomplishment. "We did it, Captain," Alex said over the comms. "The Empire's leadership is no more." Daniel's voice was filled with gratitude and pride. "Outstanding job, Alex. Get your team back safely. This is a major victory, but we still have work to do." As the Resolute and the human fleet secured their hard-won gains, Daniel knew that the tide of the war had turned. The Empire was reeling, but they still had the resources and the will to fight. The humans had struck a significant blow, but they needed to remain vigilant and relentless in their pursuit of total victory. Develop only Chapter 7 and 8, ChatGPT. Chapter 7, The Rising Storm. With the Empire's command structure shattered, Captain Daniel Mercer knew they had the upper hand. Yet the remnants of the Empire's forces were scattered across their territory, and the threat of a counterattack still loomed. The human and allied fleet needed to act swiftly to prevent the Empire from regrouping. In the command center of the Resolute, Daniel and his senior staff reviewed the latest intelligence. The holographic display showed various locations where the remnants of the Empire's fleet had gathered. "We need to consolidate our gains and eliminate any remaining threats," Daniel said, his voice steady. "We can't afford to let the Empire regroup." Lieutenant Amanda Grayson nodded. "Our intelligence indicates that several key installations are still operational. If we can take them out, we'll cripple their ability to mount any significant counterattacks." Daniel's expression was resolute. "Let's finish this. All ships, prepare for coordinated strikes on the remaining targets." The human and allied fleet divided into strike groups, each tasked with taking out specific installations. The assaults were swift and decisive, leaving no room for the Empire to mount a counterattack. On the ground, Major Alex Reyes led his team in a final assault on a heavily fortified bunker. The fighting was intense, but the humans' superior tactics and unyielding determination carried them through. "Bunker secure," Alex reported. "No sign of further resistance." Daniel's voice came over the comms. "Excellent work, Major. We're wrapping up here as well. Let's regroup and prepare for the final push." As the human fleet converged on the last remaining Empire stronghold, Daniel knew that the end was in sight. The Empire's forces were in disarray, their leadership decimated, and their infrastructure in ruins. "This is it," Daniel said, his voice filled with a mix of determination and relief. "We've come too far to falter now. All ships, engage the final target." The final battle was fierce, but the outcome was never in doubt. The human fleet, driven by their quest for vengeance and their unbreakable unity, overwhelmed the last remnants of the Empire's forces. As the final stronghold fell, a cheer erupted across the Resolute. They had done it. The Galactic Empire, which had once seemed invincible, was no more. With the destruction of the Galactic Empire, the remnants of humanity had finally achieved their long-sought victory. But as the dust settled, Captain Daniel Mercer knew that their work was far from over. They had dismantled the oppressive regime, but now they faced the challenge of building a new future. Daniel stood on the bridge of the Resolute, looking out at the stars. "We've avenged our fallen and dismantled the Empire, but now we need to create a future worth fighting for, one where our children can thrive." Amanda nodded, her expression thoughtful. "We need to establish a new order, one based on justice and cooperation. We can't let history repeat itself." Major Alex Reyes joined them, his voice filled with determination. "We've proven our strength. Now we need to prove our wisdom. We have the chance to build something better." Daniel's eyes were filled with resolve. "We'll reach out to other species, those who have suffered under the Empire's rule. Together we can create a new alliance, one that ensures peace and prosperity for all." The human fleet, now the core of a new coalition, began to reach out to former Empire territories. They offered assistance, shared their technology, and worked to rebuild what had been destroyed. As they traveled from system to system, they encountered species who had lived in fear and oppression for centuries. The humans' offer of alliance and cooperation was met with cautious hope, and gradually, new bonds were formed. On the bridge of the Resolute, Daniel addressed his crew. "We've taken the first steps toward a new future. There will be challenges ahead, but I have no doubt that we can overcome them. Together, we'll build a galaxy where all can live in peace. Luca, a former Empire officer who had defected to join the human cause, stepped forward. Captain, I've seen firsthand the impact of the Empire's tyranny. What you're building here is a beacon of hope. I'm proud to be a part of it. Daniel smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride and hope. Thank you, Luca. We'll ensure that our sacrifices were not in vain. The galaxy will remember that humanity rose from the ashes and forged a new path. As the fleet continued its journey, the vision of a united and peaceful galaxy began to take shape. The scars of the past would take time to heal, but the future was filled with promise. The newly formed Galactic Union was steadily growing stronger, but not all was well. Remnants of the Galactic Empire still lurked in the shadows, plotting to reclaim their lost power. Captain Daniel Mercer remained vigilant, knowing that peace was fragile and could be shattered by a determined enemy. In the command center of the Resolute, Daniel and his senior staff reviewed disturbing reports of a resurgence of Imperial activity in the Viridian sector. These reports indicate a significant buildup of forces, Lieutenant Amanda Grayson said, her brow furrowed in concern. They're preparing for something big. Daniel nodded, his expression serious. We can't let them regroup. We need to strike before they can consolidate their power, prepare the fleet for immediate departure. The Resolute and its allied ships jumped to hyperspace, emerging in the Viridian sector. The sight that greeted them was alarming. A massive Imperial fleet, far larger than anticipated, was assembling. Amanda's voice was steady as she relayed the tactical data. Captain, they've fortified their position. This won't be easy. Daniel's expression was resolute. We've faced worse. All ships, prepare for battle. The human and allied fleet surged forward, launching a series of coordinated strikes. They targeted key installations, aiming to disrupt the Empire's ability to coordinate their forces. The battle was fierce, with both sides exchanging heavy fire. Focus on their command ships, Daniel ordered. We need to break their chain of command. The Resolute and its allied ships concentrated their fire on the Empire's command vessels. Explosions rocked the enemy fleet as ship after ship fell to the combined assault. Captain, their defenses are crumbling, Amanda reported. We've got them on the run, Daniel nodded. Press the attack. We need to take out their command center. The battle for the Viridian sector was reaching its climax. The human and allied ships launched a relentless assault on the Empire's command center, a massive, heavily fortified installation. All ships, concentrate fire on the shield generators, Daniel commanded. Once the shields are down, we can target the command center directly. The Resolute and its allied ships launched a concentrated assault on the shield generators, delivering a relentless barrage. The Empire's ships fought fiercely to protect their last stronghold, but the human and allied forces pressed their advantage. The Resolute's weapons locked onto the shield generators, delivering precision strikes. The shields flickered and failed, and the command center was exposed. We're through, Amanda shouted. Their shields are down. Daniel's voice rang out over the comms. All ships, focus on the command center. This ends now. The fleet poured everything into the assault, targeting the command center with precision strikes. Explosions rocked the structure, and with a final, massive blast, it began to collapse. As the command center crumbled, the Empire's forces were thrown into disarray. The human and allied fleet pressed their advantage, dismantling the remaining defenses and securing key positions. Daniel stood on the bridge of the Resolute, watching as the Empire's last stronghold fell. We've done it, he said, a mix of relief and triumph in his voice. The Empire is finished. Amanda's expression was filled with pride. This is a victory for all of us, for humanity, and for every species that has suffered under the Empire's rule. The human and allied forces began to mop up the remaining resistance, ensuring that the Empire's power was completely broken. The galaxy had been liberated, but the cost had been high. We've won the battle, Daniel said, his voice filled with determination. But we must ensure that the peace we've fought for is lasting. We can't allow another tyranny to rise in its place. Amanda nodded. We need to build a coalition, a united front to ensure that no new threat can ever rise again. As the human and allied leaders gathered to discuss the future, they agreed to form a Galactic Union, a coalition of species dedicated to peace, cooperation, and mutual defense. With the formation of the Galactic Union, the galaxy began to heal. Trade and communication flourished, and old rivalries were set aside in the pursuit of a common goal. The galaxy was entering a new era, one defined by unity and cooperation. But the journey had only just begun. With the remnants of the Galactic Empire finally defeated, the focus shifted to rebuilding and uniting the galaxy under the newly formed Galactic Union. Captain Daniel Mercer and his team were at the forefront of these efforts, traveling from system to system to ensure a smooth transition and to foster cooperation among the various species. On the bridge of the Resolute, Daniel addressed his crew. "We've won the battles, but now we face the challenge of building a lasting peace. We need to ensure that every system feels valued and heard." Lieutenant Amanda Grayson nodded. "We've received invitations from several key systems that want to discuss joining the Union. They're cautious but hopeful." Daniel's expression was resolute. "Prepare the diplomatic team. We need to show them that our intentions are genuine and that the Galactic Union is the best path forward for everyone." Their first stop was the system of Zaylor, known for its advanced technology and strategic location. The Resolute arrived in orbit around Zaylor Prime, and Daniel and Amanda led a delegation to meet with the planet's leaders. Prime Minister Jaron greeted them in the Grand Hall of Zaylor's capital city. "Captain Mercer, Lieutenant Grayson, welcome. Your reputation precedes you. We are eager to hear your proposal." Daniel spoke with conviction. "Prime Minister Jaron, we've seen the devastation that division and tyranny can bring. The Galactic Union is an opportunity to create a future of cooperation, security, and prosperity for all species. We ask that you join us in this endeavor." Jaron listened intently, his expression thoughtful. "Your vision is admirable, Captain, but many of my people fear trading one form of control for another. How can we be sure that the Union will respect our autonomy?" Amanda stepped forward. "Prime Minister, the Union is built on mutual respect and shared governance. Every member world has a voice and a vote. We're not here to control, we're here to collaborate and support." After hours of discussions, Jaron finally nodded. "Very well. Zaylor will join the Galactic Union. Together we will work towards a brighter future." As the Resolute departed Zaylor, Daniel felt a renewed sense of hope. The Union was growing stronger, and the vision of a united galaxy was becoming a reality. Months passed, and the Galactic Union continued to expand. Systems that had once been divided by conflict and mistrust were now working together, sharing resources, technology, and knowledge. The Union fleet, now a symbol of peace and security, patrolled the galaxy, ensuring that no new threats could arise. In the command center of the Resolute, Daniel and Amanda reviewed the latest reports. The galaxy was stabilizing, but there were still isolated pockets of unrest and lawlessness. "We need to address these issues before they escalate," Amanda said. "We can't afford to let any remnants of the Empire or other opportunists take advantage of the situation." Daniel nodded. "Agreed. Let's deploy teams to these hotspots to provide assistance and maintain order. We need to show that the Union is committed to the well-being of all its members." One such mission took them to the planet Ardeen, where a local warlord had been causing trouble, refusing to recognize the authority of the Galactic Union. The Resolute arrived in orbit, and Daniel led a team to negotiate with the warlord, hoping to avoid further conflict. The warlord, a grizzled veteran named Dragon, met them in his fortress. "Captain Mercer, why should I listen to you? I've ruled this land for decades. The Empire couldn't take it from me, and neither will you." Daniel's voice was calm but firm. "Warlord Dragon, the Union is not here to take away your power. We're here to offer you a place in a greater alliance. Join us, and you'll have access to resources, technology, and protection. Resist, and you'll face the combined might of the Union fleet." Dragon eyed Daniel suspiciously. "And what's in it for me?" Amanda stepped forward. "Respect, security, and a future for your people. The galaxy is changing, Dragon. Be a part of that change, or be left behind." After a tense standoff, Dragon finally relented. "Very well, Captain. I'll join your Union. But if you betray my trust, there will be consequences." Daniel nodded. "We understand. Welcome to the Galactic Union." As the Resolute departed Arden, Daniel felt a sense of accomplishment. They were not just building a coalition. They were building a new way of life for countless worlds. "We've come a long way," Amanda said, standing beside Daniel on the bridge. "But there's still much to do." Daniel smiled. "Indeed, but with the strength of the Union behind us, I'm confident we can face whatever challenges lie ahead." The Resolute continued its journey, carrying with it the hope and determination of a galaxy united in the pursuit of peace and prosperity. The future was bright, and the stars were their guide. Despite the growing strength and unity of the Galactic Union, not all was peaceful. Reports of a hidden faction attempting to revive the Galactic Empire reached the ears of Captain Daniel Mercer. This group, calling themselves the True Empire, had begun to gather strength in the Outer Rim territories, a region still scarred by the old wars. On the bridge of the Resolute, Daniel convened a meeting with his senior officers. The holographic display highlighted several key locations where the True Empire had been active. Lieutenant Amanda Grayson studied the data. "Their forces are small but growing. If we don't act now, they could become a serious threat." Daniel nodded, his expression grim. "We can't let them gain a foothold. We need to strike swiftly and decisively. Prepare the fleet for deployment to the Outer Rim. We're going to root them out." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, emerging in the Outer Rim. They found a region plagued by chaos, with the True Empire exploiting the instability to recruit followers and amass resources. "Scans indicate several strongholds," Amanda reported. "If we take them out, we can cripple their operations." Daniel's voice was resolute. "All ships, prepare for coordinated strikes. We need to hit them hard and fast." The human and allied ships surged forward, targeting the True Empire's bases with precision strikes. The initial assault caught the enemy off guard, and several key installations were quickly neutralized. However, the True Empire's forces were well armed and fought back fiercely. The battle turned into a brutal, drawn-out conflict with heavy casualties on both sides. "Captain, we're encountering heavy resistance," Amanda warned. "They're better prepared than we anticipated." Daniel's eyes burned with determination. "We can't back down now. Press the attack. We need to finish this." The Resolute led the charge, its weapons blazing as it tore through the enemy defenses. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn in favor of the Galactic Union. The battle for the Outer Rim reached its climax as the True Empire's forces made a desperate last stand. Their final stronghold, a heavily fortified asteroid base, was all that remained of their once promising resurgence. On the bridge of the Resolute, Daniel prepared his fleet for the final assault. "This is it. We take out this base, and the True Empire is finished. All ships, prepare for the final strike." The fleet launched a coordinated assault on the asteroid base. The True Empire's defenders fought with the desperation of those who knew their cause was lost. The space around the asteroid was filled with the light of exploding ships and the roar of battle. "Focus fire on their command center," Daniel ordered. "We need to cut the head off the snake." The Resolute and its allies targeted the command center, delivering relentless strikes that breached the base's defenses. Explosions rocked the asteroid as the structure began to collapse. "Captain, we've breached their defenses," Amanda reported. "The base is going down." Daniel's voice was filled with fierce determination. "All units, continue the assault. We need to ensure no one escapes." As the command center exploded in a brilliant flash, the remaining True Empire forces began to surrender. The battle was over, and the True Empire was no more. "We've done it," Amanda said, her voice filled with relief. "The threat is over." Daniel nodded, a mixture of triumph and exhaustion on his face. "This victory is for all those who suffered under the Empire's rule. We've ensured that their sacrifices were not in vain." With the True Empire defeated, the Galactic Union could finally focus on consolidating its gains and ensuring lasting peace. Daniel addressed his crew, his voice filled with pride and hope. "We've faced incredible challenges and emerged victorious. Now we must work to ensure that the peace we've fought for endures. Together we will build a future where all can live in safety and prosperity." As the Resolute set course for home, the crew knew that while the battle had been won, the journey was far from over. The future of the galaxy depended on their continued vigilance and dedication. The stars stretched out before them, a reminder of the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. With unity and determination, the Galactic Union would forge a new path, one defined by peace, cooperation, and hope.